Also, buy a pregnancy pillow.
Oh my God, yes. How did I not even think to mention this? Pregnancy pillow, especially for the bad pain days.
Oh,
You
so
can
good.
take so much pressure off of your joints.
So good. And I'm terrible. So I think we have to have two duvets. Like we're going to start this next month because I'm terrible. I will bunch the duvet into me and like
Yeah, I
use it
do
to
that
prop bits
too.
up. And yeah, so Dave, when he does stay in the room, like, and he isn't snoring his head off, like, probably freezes in the middle of the night.
Oh, and then there's you waking up in a puddle of sweat, but bunched
Yeah,
like
but
a
bunched up where I've like
yeah.
padded out all my muscles.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the Slut Drops Hurt podcast with me, Maisie.
And me, Beth. We are two fibro warriors intent on sharing perspectives and stories with the chronic illness community.
Expect real talk with a dash of humour thrown in as me and my favourite fibro friend tackle a range of topics.
Slut Drops Hurt. Yes, a rather cheeky name. It comes from our common realisation that as two divas with chronic illness, slut dropping in the club is way more challenging for us, as are many more things in life.
We hope by sharing our experiences with some of you, we can contribute positively to our Spoonie community.
This week we're discussing sleep, sleep, sleep. This is part 2 of 2, in which we'll pick up with our tips and tricks on getting a really restful night's sleep. Do you have like any advice around like things you stay away from before you sleep? So I know we've spoken about drinks and caffeine and stuff, but is there anything else you stay away from before you have to get your head down on the pillow?
I think there's a lot of sort of obvious ones, sort of, you're not going to have a good night's sleep if you drink alcohol. That's kind of a given.
Yeah.
So I limit alcohol to Fridays and Saturdays only. Will
Me
not
too.
drink on a school night because Lord knows I ain't going to be in a good mood the next day. I annoyingly for me, I have to avoid reading before bed.
Fair.
I am very much I need to finish what I started, especially with books. I'm terrible. I can't put books down. So if I am reading, I have to start in the morning and I have to finish it.
So does
by
it mortify
lunchtime.
you like halfway through a chapter you can't put the book down? Does that mortify
Literally,
you?
do you know what? No, I kind of love it about myself.
But I mean, like if I was to close because I do this all the time, I close my book mid-chapter and don't pick it up for 2 days. Would that like drive you?
That bothers me. How can people do that? I don't know what it is. I think it's a slight OCD thing for me. Like I can't leave things unfinished. Like it drives me nuts.
Fair enough.
Especially in terms of like books and reading scripts and watching films. TV shows are fine. I can stop TV shows, but films, books, scripts, cannot put them down. They have to be finished in the same sitting that I started.
You are a major bookworm though, so it makes complete sense.
Yes, there is a reason I have 2 bookshelves and still not enough room and not enough space. But yeah, so that's something I have to avoid. Is there anything else? Bright lights is another one. I tend to get a bit of a sensory overload quite easily. Sound doesn't bother me too much, but lights, I have to be in a dark room for a good hour before I can get to sleep. So I get into bed probably about 9 o'clock, hoping to get to sleep by 10. Never happens, but we hope. But it takes a good hour to 2 hours before I can fully relax.
That's fair enough. That makes complete sense. Like I have a similar thing with lights, and the main thing that I've used to combat that is smart lights, because they're dimmable. So like I can turn them onto a really low light so I can still see what I'm doing and still do a few things, but they can be so low that like they're not completely bothering me like I'm being interrogated.
This is something I'm grateful about in our new flat. Is in our old one you just had these overhead spotlights and they were white painful. And they hurt. But in this new flat, which is something I didn't realize I was looking for until I found it, all of our lights are dimmable in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the hallway. They are all dimmable. So even if I wake up and I'm having a sensory overload with lights, I can turn them all down and still be able to see what I'm doing.
Yeah, that makes complete sense and so nice. Like,
yeah, and shower without being blinded first thing in the morning and stuff. Like it's such a joy that I didn't realize I needed until I had it. And then I was like, this is what I needed.
Because light sensitivity is a real problem, isn't it? Like, and I find that, like you just said, if it's bothering me before bed, I'm going to have a terrible headache or something.
Yes.
Like,
I'm going to wake up with a migraine, or I'm going to wake up the next day with a consistent dull headache, or my eyes are going to be too tired to focus on anything. It affects in so many different ways, and I didn't realize it until I, was starting to be able to combat it. Before, I just figured, oh, that's just another fibro symptom, that my eyes go a bit fuzzy, or I suddenly get migraines, because I never had migraines before. No, never. Yeah. But now it's very much a sensory overload. If it's really bright outside, most of the time I do have to have my blinds closed, because it's actually too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I have to really build myself up to bright lights.
I will say I'm terrible. I'm terrible, right? So, they say you shouldn't look at your phone too much before you go to bed. I have put a blue light filter app on my phone just so I can still use the phone. And I still try and limit it. Like, I still try and limit my intake of how much I'm using it before bed, but I don't know. I like scrolling through Twitter. Like,
that is a big thing for me, to turn my brain off, is to just mindlessly and numbly scroll through TikTok, Twitter. I'll do that for a good half hour, and then I'll be like, right, that's enough. And I'll put my phone like face down, so I can't see any notifications. Not like I get lots of messages anyway, but I can't see anything.
Yeah, I have had to use my Google Home as an alarm clock to stop me looking at my phone, because that way I can definitely put it down, because I'm like, oh yeah, my alarm's on here, I have to set it has to be loud, and if it's loud and it pings at me, I'll still pick it up. Like,
that's actually quite a big issue.
Yeah.
So that I will check throughout the night to make sure my alarm is still set. Yeah, I wake up and think, oh my god, my alarm's not set.
How many alarms do you have to set? How many alarms do you have to set?
I set one, trying to be optimistic, and then it takes about 5 more.
Yeah. I have 5 alarms religiously set at different times past the hour, because I do not trust myself to not sleep through one of them. Because when I finally get to sleep, my body's like, bye, you're only going to get 3 hours, by the way, so good luck waking up.
Do you know what, that's a strange, again, I'm the polar opposite. I am such a light sleeper. I mean, I can sleep through traffic noise, and I can sleep through music, films, TV. I can sleep through those sorts of things, but loud, abruptive noises, like if, say, I go to sleep and then all of a sudden it starts thundering, that is going to wake me up, or fireworks, or snoring, or something that's not like something that's a loud and sudden noise will wake me up instantly. So I will always wake up to my alarm. But the issue is that I wake up and I think, no, not yet, I've not had enough.
I do that
and then
too.
I have a really disruptive last hour in bed, and I'm like, what was the point? Like, that did nothing. Like, now I'm just in a bad mood because I've heard my alarm 6 times.
But this is it. Like, so I sleep really lightly, but on the days I have really bad insomnia, I'll get like 3 hours sleep, so I will just crash. And I get so anxious that I'm not going to wake up. Part of it is also to combat the anxiety of not waking up, because I will not get to sleep if I think I'm not going to wake up.
This is it. I seem to find that when I get insomnia and I only get a few hours, I just find that they're the most unrestorative hours of my life. Like, I'll be waking up constantly, like every little noise will wake me up.
But here's the thing, you can do all this right as well, have like an amazing amount of sleep, and still not feel restored when you wake up. Like, there is no
100%.
We're talking about it, and we're talking about things we do to try and help, but there will just be those days where you just won't get like a restored feeling.
Yeah, and there's
part of it.
And the other side of that is also, you could do everything right during the day. You could stop drinking caffeine at your usual time. You can expend the right amount of spoons throughout the right moments of the day. You can have your lovely shower or bath and relax and do your meditation, and you can still get hit with insomnia, or a really unrestful night, or get woken up, because this is another fun thing with sleep, waking up in a pool of sweat for no reason.
The hot
sweat, just anxiety and fibro. They're the worst. But this is it. It's really annoying in the sense that, like, much. Like many things with fibro, they just happen occasionally. But hopefully what we've done today is maybe help with some of the issues that you might encounter during sleep.
And also, like, hopefully, like, because I don't know, like, about you, but I feel like if I've done a good job at trying to be sensible, like one or two of the things, because I still like to live my life, but like, if I've done a good job and I still have a bad night's sleep, well, I'm like, oh, it's not on me. Like,
and this is it. I just think that when you start to maybe, much like everything else we kind of talk about, once you start taking control of it, whether it works or not, that's half of the battle. You will still feel better about it. The fact that you tried something new, maybe it does work a few times, but then once every 5 times it doesn't work, at least it works 4. Just you got to find your right balance and your right things that turn your brain off. And it's not an easy journey trying to figure out exactly what that is, and it's different for everybody, but it's trial and error. And don't expect it to always work, and forgive yourself when it doesn't, because it's not your fault. It's just the condition.
It's just part of the life. Also, buy a pregnancy pillow.
Oh my God, yes. How did I not even think to mention this? Pregnancy pillow, especially for the bad pain days. You can take so much pressure off of your joints.
So good. And I'm terrible. So I think we have to have 2 duvets. Like, we're going to start this next month, because I'm terrible. I will bunch the duvet into me and like use it to prop bits up. And so Dave, when he does stay in the room, like, and isn't snoring his head off, like, probably freezes in the middle of the night.
And then there's you waking up in a puddle of sweat, but bunched
bunched up where I've like padded out all my muscles. But hopefully something we have said this podcast helps someone.
Yes.
And
I did want to give a shout out to 2 products that I use.
Go for it.
For the really bad nights that we haven't mentioned. Nitol. It's not ideal and it's not for every night, but Nitol can be helpful, especially I find personally using it when I'm sleeping around somebody's house. I find it really tricky to fall asleep around someone's house because I don't have all of my products. I don't have like my pillows and everything. So I find that can take the edge off. And then also the other one, it's MCC again, but neither of us mentioned their sleepy head.
How did we not? I use that all the time.
I use that every single night. It's basically the best, well, the only way I can sort of describe it is obviously, like all their products, it's holistic, all natural, but obviously it's got a lot of lavender, relaxation, anti-anxiety. And you just roll it across your forehead, on your clavicles, your wrists, and the soles of your feet. Any form of sleepy oil or balm, any form, put it on the soles of your feet. Don't know why. I don't understand it. I have been told why it works, but just give it a go.
I have no idea why it works, but it does work.
No, I've been told, but I can't remember. So, but it's part of my routine.
I can't believe I didn't mention that, because like the smell of it and everything just is so lush as well.
I think because I use that every night, no matter what, and we're kind of talking about difficulties, like specific barriers with sleep, but in general, they are some really helpful things.
Plus, also with sleepyhead, I put it in my bath.
Yes, you can do that. You can add the oil.
So it's really good.
It's been great to talk to you today about sleep. I think there's so many challenges and not enough people kind of talk about what they do to battle it.
Definitely. I just realized there's one thing I did miss out. Which was on the days it's really bad and the pain is really bad, I do take my meds. Like, I'm not big on like my prescription meds, which is why me and my doctor have an agreement that I have quite a strong painkiller that I take when I want to, because that's just the way I manage my life. On the days it's really bad, I'll try some paracetamol and ibuprofen, and if it's not touching it, which often it doesn't, I'll take some strong painkillers, some strong prescription painkillers. It'll make me feel grouchy in the morning and stuff, but with pain, sometimes you got to give in. So
100%. And I think a very quick important shout out is, if you do use any prescription or non-prescription pills or products, keep water by your bed. They can make you very dehydrated. Just make sure you've got everything you need within arm's reach.
Definitely. That's a really good piece of advice. So, yeah,
I think you
this
should do
one's
that
been
all
fun.
the time. But
Yeah. This one's been
this
fun.
has been really fun. It's also been educational for me to kind of see what you do
Same
to
for
deal with it.
me,
Because obviously we hang out with each other, but we're not exactly going to sleep next to each other, are we?
Well, yeah, we've never shared a house. Like we've never had to do any of that.
It's quite interesting to hear that our sort of ways of dealing with it are kind of exactly the same whilst also being polar opposites.
Yeah, which is cool. That's kind of an underlying theme, which I think underlies our whole thing that we say, which is like, find what works for you. Like, we have the same condition, but we have different ways of approaching it, and similar ones.
Completely. Yeah, completely. But this has been a lot of fun. I hope that we've helped our listeners find some calm and some products maybe. I hope that this helps you get to sleep and helps you feel better when you can't.
Yeah. And if you have any tips, by the way, that we haven't covered, or you think that we should look into ourselves, comment below or send us something on our socials. If you're listening on Spotify somewhere,
please do send us some
know.
Recommendations. We're up for trying anything.
Yeah. And if you want to keep the discussion going, we're also now on Facebook now with a support group, and we're just trying to build a community where you guys can lean on each other. So just come
100%.
Find us. Basically,
yeah, we are easy to find. Just Slut Drops Hurt on everything.
100%. All right. Well, thanks, Beth. It's been fun.
Thank you. It's been so much fun. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening to the Slut Drops Hurt podcast.
We hope you join us for our next episode.
Connect with us for news on our latest podcast projects and much more. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok under the name Slut Drops Hurt.
For now, we are sending gentle hugs and wishing you all the spoons you need.